Hi, this is Todd Olthoff from toddolthoff.com coming back at you with another screencast. In this week, we're going to finish our look at the components that go into Open Directory by taking a look at how to bind your client machines to the server. Now, if you remember in a previous screencast, I showed you how to set up the Open Directory service so that you have your own Open Directory in here and ready to go. And then in the screencast I did last time, I talked about how to set up your users and groups, that you had local network and network groups that were attached to your Open Directory. And so we talked about how to get that set up. So this week I'm going to show you how to bind your client Macs to your server and how to make that work. Now, before we get started, there's a couple of things I want to cover. The first thing is just this: that if you're looking to bind your client Macs to the server in an authenticated way, there's a couple things we have to have set up. Now, let me just explain that for a minute. You can bind to the server no problem without having to authenticate to the server. And just do a normal bind. It won't ask you for a password or anything like that, and you can just connect to the server, and that's fine. In some environments, you might not want your machines to connect to your servers, so you might want to require an authenticated bind before that happens, which just means that the directory administrator password has to be used to have that machine connect to the server. Again, it's not so much of a big deal for home users, but it might be something you want to do in a corporate environment. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well so you get the whole effect. But let me just show you this. If you go to your airport utility, and you go into the Internet tab here, you want to make sure that your DNS servers shows your actual server's IP address first. And I've shown you how to do that in a previous screencast, but I just want to cover this to make sure that you have it down. Because if this isn't here, it's going to cause you problems because you're not going to get the authenticated bind because your client machine will not have this server address then show up in their own DNS. Okay, so you just want to make sure that that's there. That's something sometimes people miss, and so I just want to make sure you have that there. Again, you need to have a secondary DNS server as well to forward request outside your own local network. So this is your local network address for your server right here. I just want to show you that that's the case there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to show you how the bind works, and it's pretty simple. What I've done is I've done a screen share here to another machine that I've got, and so let me just kind of walk you through this process here. So here I am on my other machine. I'm in System Preferences. And again, what I want to do is just, if I want to do an authenticated bind, I've got to do one check. I want to come in here to Network. And I want to come in here. Again, I'm on Wi-Fi here, but I want to go to Advanced. And what I want to do is go to DNS. And I just want to make sure that my server shows up here as the top DNS server, so that way I know I'll have a chance at doing authenticated bind. Okay, just wanted to show you that's there. I'm on the client machine, and I just want to make sure the DNS servers show correctly. I'm just going to say cancel there, and we're going to go back here. So now to do the bind, I want to go into users and groups here, and I want to go into login options, and it's probably going to require you to authenticate. But once you do that, you'll notice I've got this network account server area here, and it says join. So I'm just going to click on join, and it's going to ask me for my server address. Now, if I've got this set up right, where my server is being looked to for DNS, I should be able to just see it in the drop down here, and you can see I see it right there. And there's the server, and it's ready to go. And so what I'm going to do is just say OK. Now it's going to ask me if I should trust the SSL certificate from the server. I'm going to say trust so that my machine will trust it. And now it's gotten all the server information, and now I get this screen here that asks me to put in a username and password. This is an authenticated bind. Again, if you didn't have it set up for an authenticated bind, you didn't get this screen. It will just automatically bind your machine to the server. But in this case, I did that. Now, here you're going to want to put in your directory administrator password. So let me put that in right now. Okay, now the reason we're putting that in there is because we're binding to the Open Directory. So you have to use the Open Directory password for this authenticated bind to take place. So you can see that it could be a hassle if you don't want to put that in every client's computer. You might want to just use an open bind. You can do that as well. But that's what you need to put in here. So I'm going to say OK. And you can see it's going to get the server information right now, and it's going to go through the process of actually adding my machine and binding it to the server. And you can see it's starting to do its stuff here. You can notice down here, all of a sudden it's showing the network account server. And we're just going to let it do its thing. And there we are. You can see now we're actually bound to the server. You can see it's got my server name there and everything is set. And if I just even clicked edit on here, you can see that I am now bound to this Open Directory server on my server so that this computer now is connected to it. Now this will allow me, by doing this, to actually log in using my network accounts, because now my machine understands that it's connected to the server and everything's ready to go. So that gives you an idea how to bind to the server. Again, a pretty simple process, but wanted to show you this so that we can continue on in our look at OS X Server. So that's all I have for this week. I'll be back at you next week with another screencast to help you learn how to do more things with your Mac. If you're interested in help in setting up your own server, feel free to contact me at todd@toddolthoff.com.